Hello friends, we're almost ready to release our new update of Shinobi Moto, and it's basically a totally different game, but we're still working on some of the small things like polishing up our splash screens and our user interface. So today I thought I'd take you through some of that process.
So this is the original title menu we made, and it's alright. It's simple enough. We made it for a game jam, but there's a lot to improve on here. So I took the sun and animated it, and also replaced the background with some twinkling starlight. Then I animated an 80s style grid and gave it a synthwave landscape. Next I added a city skyline and gave that some shimmering lights. I had to rescale and redraw our hero's animated silhouette. I also had to redraw the title text at a larger scale. At first I did some simple dithering for the font, but then I thought it would be cool if it resembled the folding marks on a samurai suit. I used a custom brush and a touchscreen pen to write the Moto text. After that, I applied a red and blue gradient over the entire image, followed by a vignette filter. For the UI text, I created a new larger font and designed a spacey cyber-style box with a darkened window to make the text more visible. At this point, the screen looked good, but I still felt like something was missing. I had an idea to make an animated design that resembled electrons following the traces on a printed circuit board. So I drew the design out, but this is just a stencil that I'm going to use to make some hand-drawn particles. And I thought you might like to see a time-lapse of this tedious process. So as I usually do, I'm going to put this design stencil on its own layer and decrease its opacity and turn on onion skinning. Then I'm going to make a new layer and start drawing particles. Initially, I was going to show you the entire time-lapse of this process, but even with the speed set to 7,000 in Premiere, this was still a 5-minute clip, so we're just going to skip ahead a bit. Now before with our UI, we just used 2 frames to switch between the highlighted text for our selections. But I felt like a small animated transition would go a long way in giving the game a digital glitchy vibe. So I gave the text the old chromatic aberration effect and then broke it up horizontally. And since those were the animations to switch between options, I had to do another set of animations for when those options are selected. From there I married a few sound effects to create a skippy digital scratch sound to go back and forth through options, and I added some sword slashes for the confirmation. I also composed some new music to use for the title screen, which we're now listening to. So this is what we get if we put it all together. I'm still not completely finished with this screen, but now you start to understand the amount of time and energy and layers and elements that all have to come together in order just to create a title screen that draws the player in and screams, "Play me!" An atmosphere is created that suggests the kind of experience the player is in for.
Personally, my favorite title screens are the NES ones like Contra and Mega Man. Simple. But nothing worth doing is ever easy. And on that sad truth, thanks for watching.